What's up, y'all? We live. We live. I'm back. Missed you guys last week. I was too busy. I didn't do a live. But now I'm back. I'll let you guys jump on. I'll let the questions start coming in. Topic for this video is less is more. In dog training, less is more. And I'll explain exactly what I mean by that. The average person, the average dog, all of my clients, people that I meet and help train their dogs, they're doing too much. The dog's out too much. They're focused on the dog too much. The dog can tend to dominate an owner's mental space 24/7. Everything's with the dog. For me, less is more. So the concept of I'm going to do a 10-minute training session with my dog 6 times a day, all throughout the day. And if I'm not doing that, I'm giving them a potty break. And if I'm not doing that, the dog's in their crate. That concept is tough for most people. Most of the time you get a dog, the dog's in the crate when you go to bed and when you leave the house. And, outside of maybe a nap time, the dog's just out. Puppy, dog, whatever. They're just out. If you have an older dog that you're not interested in training, you don't need any, you don't do any, of course, doesn't apply here. But young dogs, dogs in training, they're just out too much. Less is more. Pull them out for 10, 15 minutes. Do a pre-planned training session. Have it go great. Put the dog away for a few hours. Take the dog out, rinse and repeat. Put the dog away for a few hours. This is the training process. You're not coming here to hear advice on how to hang out with your dog, okay? You want to know how to train the dog. So the process of training the dog, it doesn't involve puppy or dog just loose for hours at a time running around. Less is more. Do your session, have it go great, put the dog away, and don't even think about the dog for hours. Boop, they're done. It's nap time. And as they get older, as your training gets better, you can slowly but surely start to increase the time of the training sessions, the time that the dog is out of the crate, your play sessions, etc., etc. But less is more. Less is more. I would rather do 2 training sessions a day, really, really quality training sessions, 20 minutes each, call it. 1 in the front half of the day, 1 in the back half of the day. The rest of that time, the dog's getting broken out to go potty and stretch his legs. I would rather that than have the dog just out hanging out with me for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. If I care about training, I would much rather that. So food for thought, think about your relationship and your dog and think, could I maybe have them put away more? Most dogs are going to have some level of separation anxiety. And they're not going to get over that if you, the owner, handler, and trainer, is just thinking about the dog 24/7. You're talking to the dog 24/7. The dog's out of the crate for 2-3 hours in the house. You have gates up. You're telling him off, come, no, down, here, sit, off, hey, Fluffy, no. And you're just constantly, If you can't do a good training session, put your dog away, and then just not think about your dog for 3 or 4 hours, your dog's going to be thinking about you for those 3 or 4 hours. You unplug, disconnect, you go your way, dog goes their way, you get in your quality time, 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes maybe. You get that in, you put the dog away, you don't think about the dog doesn't think about you, and then when you come back together to get the dog out, oh, this is good, this is exciting. So think about it, y'all, think about it. Again, if you don't care about training, maybe it doesn't matter, but less is more. Less is more, people. Let's get into the questions. Okay. Whoever joins in, leave a like while you're here. Only takes one click. You right about that? I'm thinking about getting either an 8-year-old Shepherd or GS or a year-old Lab. I'd go Lab. I like Labs. How does one go about becoming a trainer in obedience and protection work? Where does one start to really need to have certification or practice to learn on your own? Well, that's the thing about dog training. It's kind of the Wild West. It's not like being like an electrician or like a plumber where you have to be like licensed and like insured and like pass tests to like legally work. It's kind of the Wild West that anyone and their mom can just proclaim themselves to be a dog trainer, and then they are. Anyone can spend however much on a website and make it and get a cool decal on your car. Anyone can be a dog trainer. So not exactly good there. The real way that you really want to do it, and it's hard to do, but you have to do some kind of an apprenticeship that's like many years, like 2 minimum apprenticeship with a qualified trainer. A qualified trainer means they're turning out board and trains all the time. They're competing with their own dogs. They're titling, they're winning, they're doing lessons, classes, so someone that kind of knows the whole thing. That's the real way to do it. And, if you can't do that, then hopefully you find good stuff on the internet. That's where my Patreon comes in handy, my friend. Get a shirt too. Are we training or are we training? Let's go. Good question, Jordan. The answer is we training. I made it. Let's go. Patreon crew here. I like it. Good to be here today. What's up, Matthew? Real King Francis. How was your 4th? It was good. Tips on how to help a dog lose weight. Cut the amount of food that you feed them daily drastically. 6-month Malinois limping. Looks like metacarpus area. No vet available until Monday. What's your best suggestion till then? Crate rest. Nothing but the crate. Let the dog out on leash to potty only. Bring them right back in the crate. Less is more info I needed to hear because my Mal's always in my headspace. Get that Mal in a crate and forget about it. Plan 6 different yet quality different training sessions a day. 6 of them. 3 in the front half of the day, 3 in the back half. And when you're not doing those, your dog's in the crate. And if your dog's not in the crate and not training, your dog's going potty, period. Then you put the dog away. Hope all's great, making change, let's go. Hi, if the dog, I might have to translate this one. If the dog know heel very good, that's probably heel. If the dog knows heel very good, also in walk outside, he make heel very good. But when he sees other dogs, he becomes aroused and goes forward. What steps do I need to go in training? Okay, so Amir's asking, my dog heels pretty good, but all bets are off when my dog sees another dog. So think about this, Amir. Heel is probably, for the average pet dog, is probably the most complicated command that there is. And I mean the most complicated because it has the most amount of variables. A sit-stay, it doesn't have that many variables compared to heel because the dog's always moving, you're always moving. They constantly have to be thinking about how to be right next to you. They constantly have to be fighting off. I'm going to smell the ground. I'm going to go check this out. I'm going to go check that out. So heel, it's definitely the hardest thing for the dog to do. Sit, stay, once the butt's on the ground, it's like, okay, they're there. Like, I can't get up. But heel, you're moving, so it's a lot harder. So since it's harder, you need to go back to square one. Amir, you need to hand feed your dog 1,000,000 times in front of other dogs until your dog just ignores them like white noise. And then that heel will be perfect. You won't have to worry about it. But go back to square one and just hand feed. If your dog won't take food from you and just keeps looking at the dogs, well, dogs have more value than you in your training. So you got to fix that. Go back to square one, my friend. Yo, hope everyone's well. All's good. What's up, Ashley? Just want to remind everyone here benefiting from your support team, linking everything. Yep. Thanks, Ashley. Like it, comment. Let's go. Hey, Andy, love your content and tips. About to get our Vizsla in a couple weeks. Been waiting years to get that dog ready to train. Nice, man. Make sure you knock out that crate training. We live, baby. Patreon crew, let's go. Let's go. Hit us with some knowledge. I'll try. Hi, Andy. From where exactly do I train my dog? How about from your house? Thanks. Loving the Patreon. Thank you. Cut the amount of food drastically and increase the exercise, or keep the same activity level? To get a dog to lose weight, it's all about cutting the food. I have good regular exercise with a dog pretty much every day, no matter if we're trying to lose weight, gain weight, maintain weight. So the exercise, yeah, for sure exercise the dog, but you would do that anyway, even if they weren't trying to lose weight. So, but the cutting the food is the most important. Thanks, I'll sure sign up to your Patreon. Thank you. Thank you. This is a great question. I think maybe Christy asked this on the Patreon, and it's a great question. What does the proofing phase look like? When does it start? This is a good one. Guys, proofing phase. Some would say there's two phases to training. There's a teaching phase, and then there's a proofing stage. The teaching phase, pretty self-explanatory. You're teaching the dog that saying the word sit means to put their rear end on the ground. You're teaching them that they have to wait, etc., etc. Well, when the dog knows what the command is, which can greatly differ from person to person. Oh, my dog knows this. And I'm like, no, they don't. But when your dog actually knows something, your dog knows sit. Sit, boom, sit, but they do it every day, multiple times a day, and they wait. So most people, they like to get the dog's food bowl, tell them sit, stay, put the food down, tell them to wait. Oh, you can't eat till I say it. Okay, go on there. Okay, very pet owner thing to do. So you could make the argument there, oh, that dog knows sit, stay. So that's the teaching phase. Our teaching phase for the sit, stay would be over in that context. And then we would want to move to the proofing stage of the sit, stay. So an example here, with this going to the bowl of food. To proof what you've taught the dog using food, the dog needs to know leash pressure. For me, that's a big part of the proofing stage. The proofing stage involves corrections for sure. I like all 4 quadrants of dog training, operant conditioning. Corrections are involved for sure, but outside of corrections, the dog needs to know leash pressure, and the dog needs to do anything and everything that they know with a leash on and being guided by the leash. So you could tell your dog to sit, and they'll sit. You can do this, and the dog sits, but you also need to be able to do this and have the dog sit. If I pull up on a leash, I need the dog to know that that means butt goes down. If I pull down on the leash, I need the dog to know that that means lay down. So if your dog's in a sit and you pull the leash down to the ground and they won't go down, they go against it, your dog doesn't know leash pressure. Your dog has to know leash pressure in order to proof your commands. So food in the face luring is definitely good for teaching and for building, but for proofing, we shouldn't be luring. We can reward with food, but we shouldn't be luring. We should be luring with our leashes. Proofing. Hit me with the follow-up questions on that. I don't want to ramble all day, but great question. When does it start? When the dog knows the given command. Let's go, Andy. What's up, Rhett? I'm training at the same time I'm typing. Nothing wrong with that. Do you recommend a gunner or Roughland kennel? If I had to pick one, I'd pick a gunner because they're like super indestructible, but I'd be happy with the Roughland too. When do you plan on competing with Freddie? How's his training coming along? Probably next spring. And his training's coming along really, really nicely. I'm super, super happy with him. His only flaws are what I've created. So he's doing really good. A little cold brew action, you know what I'm saying? Oh boy, my bad. On competition days, what are the routines you do to get yourself and your dogs ready? Do the nerves ever go away? Haha. Good question, Rhett. On competition days, what are the routines you do to get yourself and your dogs ready? Do the nerves ever go away? So, competition day, nothing, because all the work is already done. If I'm trying to do something the day of, you're screwed. So everything's done. I just sit back, relax. I wait to go get my dog out, and then I go and compete. So let's say I'm competing in French ring. Okay, time for the ring threes to go. So we do the dog in white. So all the competitors are on the field with the judge, with the decoys. We have a dog in white that runs through the program. Judge can monitor the decoys work. We can mark the field, etc. And so I watch that. You already do the draw the night before, so it's like, okay, I'm going first. Sweet. They'll usually say, hey, you got 15 minutes. You got 10 minutes. So I'll walk over to my car. I'll get my vest on. Make sure I got the dog's retrieve items. Make sure I got the muzzle, the leash. I'm going to get my dog out. We're going to potty break. I'm going to walk him around on a long line. He's going to potty. I'll probably, with Jasper, I would just play a little bit of tug with him. I'd work some outs. Do a little e-collar. Boom, 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 boom. Tune up some of his stuff, and then just take the equipment off, head towards the field, discreetly drop my tug on the way so I don't walk out onto the field with it. And we go out there and we party. Now, leading up to that, like a good 3-month training camp is ideal for me. So 2-3 times a week, every week, we're training the full Ring 3 program, and we're going hardcore. So all the months leading up, it's just consistent training with trial in mind. I'm tightening, I'm peaking, I'm tightening, I'm peaking. When I arrive to the venue on Friday, you're going to have what's called open field, where you'll have, depending on your level, a certain amount of time to get out there and use the field. So of course I'll do that. I'll get the dog on the field, jump him, send outs, blind search, put him in the car. And then the day of the competition, it's like, well, he's going to do it or he's not going to do it. Nothing I can do right now is going to change anything. Kind of the same for open field. It's like, hey, it is what it is now, and I'm just going to make sure he knows where the blinds are, where the send out is, and make sure that he's jumping. Good question. Do the nerves ever go away? I don't really feel like I get nervous to handle the dog, because all I have to do is walk around and say words. The dog's going to do everything else. So handling doesn't make me nervous at all, but decoying, for as long as I have been at the level that you're at, it can be extremely dangerous. You could have one attack where the dog destroys your knee. You never walk the same again. You might have to go rush straight to the hospital. I've seen a decoy get bit in the neck, knees blown out, hands bit bad, all kinds of stuff. So the one time I got my foot bit. So I'd be more nervous decoying, that's for sure. I mean, handling, I'm not going to get hurt. You know what I mean? You need a podcast. You got to put real dog training on the map. I know, everyone, I'll get a podcast one day. Look into super chats. I know. The podcast thing, I'll do one day. It's another thing for me to do, and now I got to get a mic. Now I got to upload it. I got to get this and that. I already got way too much going on, but it would be cool if anyone was just like, yep, here's exactly how you do it, blah, 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 blah. Then I'd probably do it quicker, but I'm going to have to figure all that stuff out. Hey, Andy, I meant which exact obedience training do I start? Sorry, but I don't have a crate. My dog is 8.5 months old. You can't do anything without the crate, in my opinion. For 8.5 months old, the crate, I wouldn't, and everyone's different, I wouldn't even entertain training a dog without a crate. One exception would be if it was like a senior that was like disabled somehow, but why would that dog even be in training in the first place? So yeah, but no, 8.5 months old, I couldn't dream of attempting any training whatsoever without having crate training in place. I wouldn't even take it on. If you said, Andy, but I'll give you $1 million to do it, I'd be like, no, crate training happening. Pay me the normal rate and let me use a crate. So needless to say, I'd be on Amazon right now getting a crate. Establishing consistent, strict routine out of the crate is crate to everywhere. Should I set up the difficult situation with the horses while your training is fresh, or should I wait a few days? Set that up ASAP, Ashley. Set that up ASAP. Just did some training with Ashley's German Shepherd here. Nice little pup. Couple vids up on Patreon. Might be a YouTube one, but cool little pup. Very reactive to horses. He's around horses every day. So hit that up now, Ashley. You make him do it. No different than what we did with Jasper. I'm from India. Welcome. Hey, Andy, what's the best way to make my 10-month-old giant schnauzer be okay with the visitors? He's only seen 2 people while on place, but I couldn't get him to stop barking. 10-month-old giant schnauzer. So here's what you have to do in that situation. So we got a 10-month-old giant schnauzer who will be on place, but when people come to the house is just going berserk on the crate, on the climb, and won't stop. So here's what you have to do with that dog. You put that dog in his crate, far and away, in a far-off land. You welcome your guests into your home, give everyone a few minutes to settle in, whatever, and then you tell them, hey, I'm going to go get my dog. I need you guys to totally ignore him. And they'll be like, okay, sure, anything you say there. Or they'll be like, oh, it's so mean. Can I pet him? So you go get your dog. You have a foolproof crate routine. The dog exits a very specific and controlled way every single time. You have a heel command that you use. You have training equipment that you use. You heel your dog out into the room where the people are. Have him off of the place first. Don't have him out when they enter. Those things can make a big difference. If he walks out and starts barking at him, pull up on your leash. Tell him no. No, stop it. No. And then you engage him with food. And if he won't take that food for anything, now you got problems. Now you got big problem. Now we need a whole nother strategy for that. Because if a dog won't take food, I mean, that's big stress, big time overfed, or both. And 10 months old, we cannot have the dog not food motivated. I mean, that's a growing boy. So major red flag, major problem if the dog won't take food. And you ease the dog out, then you place the dog, then you pay the dog, and your guests ignore him the entire time. Who's with me? Scrolling? Saw your video, it was awesome. Thanks. You're welcome for the answer on proofing. It's all about that leash pressure. You lure the dog into a sit, the dog gets up out of sit, you go, oh, sit. And I like to push on the butt too. I like the dog to know that that's sit. And every time they pop, dogs aren't going to repeat what isn't reinforced. So every time they pop up, it's leash pressure and right back down. That's going to start to trail off for sure. My GF has been waiting in the car outside for me for 10 minutes. How am I supposed to leave the live? We training. That's right. You make her wait. Yo, Andy, what's your opinion on Susan Garrett? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of her. Let's see. Susan Garrett. Any videos? Anyone heard of this person? I never heard of her. Let's see how many. 30,000 subs. Okay.
Here.
I better put the. Okay. Looks wacky. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. Just from the 2 seconds I saw, it looks like a. Well, no comment. Let's see what we got here. Do you think dog sports should be in the Olympics or too easy for France to win the gold in French ring? Nah, that stuff can't be in the Olympics. I mean, dogs attacking people, that ain't no good there. No, people don't want to touch that. Maybe like agility or dock diving could be. Hey, Andy, when do you think someone is ready for a Malinois or Dutch Shepherd? And what would the perfect day look like for a Malinois and its owner? When is someone ready? I mean, maybe never. It's not like the Malinois thing, like it's not about like, am I ready for it? Oh, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it. Like if you're thinking that, like definitely it's not for you. Screw the Malinois. Get something else. Seriously, oh yeah. Why not get like an awesome lab? You know what I mean? Like an awesome lab. Don't worry about the biting, the protection stuff. Like, it's not exactly what you think. I promise you that. So go with a different breed for sure. I mean, I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but it sounds like I am, so maybe I am. Healing is going well, Andy. Good. Getting in those reps for the meals every day. I try to practice in quiet areas, but if he sees a dog, he gets very overexcited and lays down. Any advice? Yeah, keep practicing. Be more interesting than what he is interested in. Motivate the dog. Dog training's hard. You're not going to be able to just stand there with the food and fix stuff. So dog training's extremely difficult. Some people train 5, 10 dogs and they're still not very good at it. So all you have to do is keep practicing and up your motivation by a lot. If some random strange dog is more interesting than you, the owner, trainer, handler who buys the food, then that's no good. Hey Andy, I came across some trainers who say no tugging at the ball. Any merit to that? I don't know what that means. No tugging on the ball? I don't even know what that means. I'd say there's no merit to that, no. What dog food does your dog eat? He's on kibble, but I'm thinking about switching to raw. And by thinking about, I mean I already ordered it. How do I get my dog to properly engage in play? Trying to get him to play with a tug. He'll bring it to me, but then he just wants to take it away and lay down and hold it. Yeah, Karen, playing tug is with a dog, teaching tug, it's like one of the most difficult things you could do. Like, period. Like, it'd be easier to learn how to repair the engine in your car, or how to do a home DIY project, because there's at least matter-of-fact steps regardless to get there. So it's extremely difficult. There's no way I could just troubleshoot something like that with one thing. But if you let the dog win the tug and the dog takes it away, doesn't bring it back, and lays down, why are we continuing to let him win the tug? He doesn't need to win the tug every time. Tell him to bite, tell him to out, teach him the game is right here with you. Usually people start letting go of the toy like way too early, and it creates these avoidance problems that you wouldn't have normally. How habitat influence the dog in different stages of dogs? Yeah, environment's everything. I heard a trainer saying that you should plan 2 hours per day for exercise, 2 hours for socializing inside the house. Instantly started wondering what are your thoughts on that would be. I would totally disagree with that. What's the reason for keeping a dog in the crate outside of training hours? So the dog's not doing whatever it wants most of the time. So a dog will revert to, especially in excitement or stress, they'll revert to their foundation. You know, have you ever heard that about, police officers or special forces guys, the training that they have to do? It's very specific, because in moments of big stress, you think you're going to handle it, but you just revert back to that foundation of training. So if the foundation's not good, then it's not good. So if the dog is just wandering around doing whatever it wants most of the time, when you put your dog on a place and welcome company in, well, now dog's really excited, dog's really anxious. I can move about the house as I please most of the time, and it's fine, and they're going to jump off the bed and be confused. So I don't do it because I don't want an untrained, unreliable dog or puppy wandering around my house doing whatever they want. Andy, I have 2 5-month German Shepherds that go after every dog and person they see. What would you do about that? I would drastically change the dog's lifestyle and my lifestyle with the dogs, like extremely drastically, and I would invest a boatload of time, money, and energy into dog training. Even if trainers in your area you think, oh, they're no good, trust me, they'll be better than what you have right now. I mean, working with someone local, doing classes. I don't even care if the classes suck. You show up to those classes and you do them and you follow the instructor. You go, oh, this will never work. This isn't what I need. Doesn't matter. Show up, do it. Have a trainer come to your house every week, no matter what. You like them, you hate them, have them come, do it. Watch every training video you can on Learberg. Join my Patreon. Go type in whatever on Google. I mean, and 2 German Shepherds is like having like 4 dogs. That's a lot going on there. So huge investment with time, energy, and money for training. That's exactly what you need. What should we do if the dog does not have a food drive or play drive? Leash sensitive, difficult to touch. You have a very difficult dog to train. What should you do? If you're a plumber and you come to a house to do a job and it's an extremely difficult job, it's not just like fixing this, fixing that. It's like we have to reroute this to this side of the house. It's on a concrete slab. We got to oh, the old plumbing work was done wrong. We got to pull that out. We got to fix it. Like a nightmare job for a plumber. You ask the plumber, like, oh, so what do you do about it? They're like, I do the job. So, like, I train the dog. Describing exactly how you would train the dog, I don't know, because I don't know you. I don't know your experience, your approach. I just don't know any of that. All I know is that I would get the dog to be food motivated. I would get the dog to play with me, and I'd get the dog to not be as sensitive to touch. I'd get him to do all that because I'm a dog trainer, and I'd teach him how to take the food, how to play, and how to relax. She's a good agility trainer. Okay, there we go. I believe you, Matthew. I don't want to say, I just clicked on like one video for like 2 seconds and looked kind of funny, but I got you, Matthew. Okay. I respect good agility training for sure. I mean, I know it's not bite sports, it's just a completely different animal, but I respect it for sure. That's no good, Jordan. Why everyone says the dog needs socializing? I would not like my dog to socialize with every person. I want him to be a good guard dog. Am I wrong? Nope, you're not wrong at all. I'm not into the socializing thing. Like, of course, I take my dogs, my puppies, out and about a bunch. I live in the country, so I want them to see downtown, Home Depot, different things like that. I don't want them to have a meltdown when there's like traffic or something. So I like to take the pups out and about, but yeah, I don't like people touching them. I'll definitely never let them meet another dog out and about like that. So no, I'm with you. The socializing stuff, that's all Cesar Millan stuff. Thanks, Cesar. Thanks for doing that to our culture and our dogs. What's up, Andy? Thanks for the great content. Thanks, John. Please read mine. Okay, I will. I have a 4-month Belgian Malinois. How can I get him to stop biting on my wife's little dog? Have the dogs completely separate. I know you're like, oh, Andy, that's such a jerk answer. I would never have those dogs just hanging out together. It's a terrible, what you're going to do is create a bunch of really bad habits. You have your time with your dog. When you're done, you put the dog away. They do not need to intermingle right now. 4 months old? I don't think so. Habitat and sensitive dogs. Okay. All right. Don't understand. Do you have any training recommendations for a brain injury damaged Dutch Shepherd? Lost all commands. I mean, a brain injury, do we really need to be training the thing? Caesar has passed an hour and temp of 100 too long. How to stop howling? I don't know. I don't know. Andy, how goes it? Totally agree. Practice, practice, practice. My dog's just a year. We're bonding well. He'll not return with a ball or anything else. He's a great pickpocket. Love your Patreon. Help him with my Doberman pup. Your favorite breed. I'm just playing. I like the Dobes. Would love more on progressing the heel. I know you have said it's the mess of commands. Progressing heel. Yeah, let me think about that one. Hey, and did you know Jerry Bradshaw? What do you think about him? Yeah, I do. I respect him for sure. For sure. I mean, he's police PSA guy, which I'm personally not into, but I like a lot of the stuff. Like I've listened to some of his podcasts for sure. I don't like watch his training. I haven't seen him train. I haven't seen him compete. I'm not like a fan like that where I'm like, oh, look at him doing this. But no, I definitely know of him and have listened to a couple of his things, and I respect him for sure. I'm in Southeast Texas. It's hot down here. I bet it is. I want to walk him, but we'll overheat fast. My Belgian Malinois named General Zod. Yeah, you don't need to be walking a dog in that heat, that's for sure. I have seen dogs which bite and destroy everything, but when I want them to divert it to fetch or tug, they just shut down completely. Yeah, I have no idea. 7-month-old GSD, lazy boy. A 7-month-old German Shepherd is lazy? Oh, his name's Lazy Boy. Highly food motivated and training going great. Oh, maybe his name's Lazy Boy. Okay. But toy motivation low. Mostly likes to chew it. How do I get him fetching better? 7 months old and with the chewing and stuff, I would shelf all fetch for a couple months and revisit. Yesterday I went to Atlanta Aquarium and the level of training for the dolphins brought tears to my eyes. It was awesome. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Andy, for answering all my questions. Love from India. You got it. How do you create ball drive in a dog that's not motivated by the ball or food? Well, if they're not motivated by food, they're overfed or have a medical issue. How to create ball drive if the dog doesn't have ball drive? Look, the way I look at it is if I'm trying to get a dog to be driven by a ball that isn't driven by a ball, I'm going against their genetics. I'm just going to get a dog that's ball driven. The dog's telling you he don't want to play with the ball. You're like, no, you're going to play with the ball. Just listen to the dog. Dog don't want to play with the ball. If I throw a ball, the dog just doesn't care, walks the other direction. I'm like, okay, no ball drive on him. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. I mean, food's different. The dog's overfed or has a medical issue, but the ball thing, if the dog don't want to chase the ball, you're not going to get the dog to chase the ball. I just leave it at that. I don't like to make dogs do stuff when it comes to like play that they don't want to do. So if you have maybe like a shepherd that like doesn't care about bite work, doesn't want to engage that much, isn't that into it, it's like, how do we boost the drive? Well, you just get another dog. Because your dog's telling you, like, I'm not interested in this game. You know, it's like if your kid tells you, no, I'm not interested in playing football. And you're like, oh, no. Hey-oh. Oh, no, like, you're going to play football. We're going to make you love football. Usually doesn't go great. So just kind of my opinion on that. I'm sure it wasn't exactly what you're looking for, but. What kind of raw plan are you going to start him with? It's like an 80-20-20. Which is like 80% protein, 20 bone, 20 organ. I forget the name of the company. I might make a video on it. Thanks, Andy. The videos have helped me a whole lot. Thank you. Do you have any videos on selecting a puppy? Besides finding reputable breeders, how do you pick the best puppy out of a litter? I'm not a big puppy pick guy. I mean, yeah, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. So if it's a breeder that I know, love, and trust, they know my plans for the dog. I'm like, give me which one you think is best. I've selected, I've examined litters, and I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot unless there's something glaring, like one puppy, you like walk up to get it and it like runs away from you and hides. Like, yeah, obviously that's not a great sign. But for me, I find the breeder that I trust, that knows me, and I'm like, hit me with it. A lot of guys will be like, oh, picking a puppy, I do this, then I look for this, then I'm that, and that. And yeah, I mean, there's some merit to that, but just the average person, like, just grab one and pray. Andy, thanks for all you do. Tier 3 is totally worth the money. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate ya. We just getting started. GSD is not named Lazy Boy. He's a lazy dog. His name's Maverick. A 7-month-old German Shepherd that's lazy? No. Is there a medical issue? Any tips for competitive recall, secondary obedience? For example, after a bite, I want to maximize return to heel speed. Looking for your approach. Yeah. There's are you on my Patreon? Because there's a cool video on my Patreon. I'll just describe it real quick. So I'll have one person that has a tug. I have the same tug. That person gives my dog the bite, plays tug, beep. I whistle, they come off the tug to my tug. Boom, 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 boom. I hand that to the person. I take their tug. They play with him. Boop. He lets go, runs over, gets my tug. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So there's equal value. You'll never have, if the dog's biting a decoy and you're trying to teach speed coming back to you, unless you have another decoy, no matter what you have, it won't be as valuable as the decoy. So you'll always have the dog go fast and then come back slower. But if you teach the initial recall before they ever even bite, before they ever even recall off of a bite, from person A to person B with the same tug, you'll get a really consistent speed. I didn't recall my dog off of a decoy with a whistle until like recently. So I wanted to make sure that I had all the pieces before I did that. Puppy picks us. My 3 males picked me. I don't know about that one, Charlotte. Now you're getting crazy, Charlotte. Now you're getting a little bit crazy. We might wrap this bad boy up, y'all. Glad to be back. Hit the Patreon, patreon.com/Andy Kruger. Support your boy. Get you a shirt. Get you the shirt. Videos every Monday, lives every week. I get some shorts going, not actual shorts that you wear, but like YouTube shorts that I'm making and posting. Okay, I'm using your approach for the recall. Equal value, reps are key. 2-year-old Malinois, just starting with him. Yeah, just same toy, one person, you, bam, rinse and repeat. Should definitely make a video on the raw plan. Would love to know the company you got it from. Yeah, I forget. You'll be hearing about it. Thanks for the time. She bites soon. I know if my artist would ever get it done. Shirts have been ordered. Thank you. Where do you buy the shirts? I would put the link. The last video I posted on Monday. Any video I post on a Monday, like the past few videos, click the link in description. If you're on my Instagram, Andy_Kruger, link in bio there. Think about upping to Tier 3. Can you share a few titles of Tier 3 Patreon videos? No, the only thing in Tier 3 that you're going to get, so Tier 1 is just all my regular videos. Tier 2 is all my regular videos plus decoy videos. Tier 3 is all my regular videos plus decoy videos plus a 30-minute chat every month. She bites. You're welcome. 6-month-old Mal was quarantined for 3 months. Just got 2 weeks ago. She's adjusting better, but when she sees other dogs, she barks like crazy. I try to distract her with a toy or treats, but can't get her attention. Any tips? Look, this isn't the tip that you're going to want, but 6-month-old Malinois was quarantined for 3 months, just got out 2 weeks ago. You just need to give the dog time and just like not have her around other dogs like that for a while. Just give her time, establish way better training, like way higher level training. Only 2 weeks, like I'd log in 2 months of training before I even let her see a dog, because right now you're pretty much just screwed. You're welcome. All right, y'all, I'm out. We'll see you next time.